Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be looking at something a little bit different. This isn't a new release, this isn't something I recently built. Actually, this right here is a kit I've had since before this channel even existed. You guys probably know by now, but Master Grade 1/100 kits are my favorite gunpla by far. The size is just perfect to me. The detailing is amazing, but not too overly complex. And I just love the entire package that comes with those kits. And even within that line, there is a handful, maybe 10 to 20 kits that I absolutely and utterly adore. Some I've reviewed on this channel, like the Freedom 2.0, and some that I haven't, including this right here. This is the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal, so this is going to be a bit of a throwback review. And speaking of throwbacks, are you stuck inside in self-isolation, wishing you were out there vanquishing orcs and slaying dragons like you used to in the good old days? Well, now you can do that from the comfort of your own home with Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a dark fantasy RPG on mobile and on PC, and the best part? It's free to play. Travel across the world of Talaria with your trusty army of badass-looking heroes like demons, beasts, and a guy with mustache armor. What? Head to the tavern to drink sketchy beer you looted off an enemy corpse. I mean, it isn't even sealed. That's still okay to drink, right? Battle away the quarantine blues by killing mobs, killing bosses like dragons, golems, spiders, more golems. Level up your heroes by making them eat each other back in the tavern. Crack open shards to get more heroes, and if they're no good, eat them. Remember how you got 90 days of daily login rewards? Well, now it's been doubled to 180 days. That's almost half a year of free stuff. Each day you can claim rewards like energy refills, silver, gems, shards, and a free barbarian champion, Seal of the Drapes. You can find me in-game under the nickname Mecha Gaikotsu. Who would have guessed that? So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description box, click on that special link, and if you're a new player, you'll get 100,000 free silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, and a free champion, Adjudicator. That is 1 killer champion they're giving you absolutely free. You will find your extra rewards right up here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. The links are down there in the description. Now back to the review. So that right there is what the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal looks like out of the box, snapped together, with some panel lining, and 8 or so years later. Without a single doubt, this kit has held up better than a lot of kits I have, and that's one of the aspects I love about this. But there is 4 things about this kit that I absolutely and utterly wish that Bandai did in future kits that came out after this, which would be past kits now, but let's get to those 4 things. First is chromed out stickers behind clear parts. Just look at how much the A there in the chest catches that light. That looks so good. That is because there is a sticker in behind that causes the light to reflect back out, making it more vibrant and look awesome. So yeah, I no longer have the sticker sheet of this anymore because I've had it for so long, so I'm gonna pop up a picture right here right now of all the stickers that came in here. There were quite a few, some decals as well. I did apply every single one, but they haven't aged all that great. And of course, this picture right here is from the Schizophonic 9 blog. The greatest Gundam blog that has ever existed, so if you ever want awesome pictures of Gunpla, just after the release, I will throw the link down there in the description so you can check that blog out. The second awesome thing about this kit that Bandai did that I have not seen them done since is what's on the knees here. So these aren't color accurate parts, these are stickers, but the most unique stickers I've ever seen on a Gunpla. So I'm not exactly sure of how clear I'm making this right now, but this isn't your standard sticker. This is about a ½ a millimeter or so, maybe even 1/4 of a millimeter, of a somewhat hard plastic with a sticky back. So technically it's a stick-on piece of black plastic, almost like a black plastic sticker. So this isn't just a foil sticker or a color sticker or anything like that. This is a stick-on piece of plastic, and once again, this is aged perfectly. Get it? Aged because it's Gundam Age? Oh. But yeah, this right here is a kit I've had for 8 years, and was shipped all the way from Japan to Ireland in a big box for 2 months on a ship. And it didn't knock a stir out of it. There's other kits that have fallen to pieces, and I'm specifically talking to you Sinaju, Delta Plus, and Rezel. I know what was with those Master Grade Unicorn kits, but those things tend to break easily. The third phenomenal thing about this kit that Bandai doesn't seem to do on Master Grades or any other kits anymore is this venting. So this vent goes right on through to the inner frame. This isn't just panel lines. This is all over the kit, and if I pop up the actual image of Gundam AGE-1 Normal, on the side there, you can see that these did not exist in the original design or in the anime, and I think this really gives it some awesome texture. Maybe some people don't like this sort of thing because it isn't necessarily anime accurate, that I totally get, but I feel this kind of extra detail really gives it some more dimension and depth. To me, it looks really cool, and something I wish was adapted more into newer master grades or other grade kits. And the fourth absolutely awesome aspect about this kit that no other non-age kits ever got, and that is a spoiler! I mean, seriously, it's a Gundam with a spoiler. I know that may not be for everyone, but I absolutely adore that. I think it's ridiculous. And that makes it pretty cool. So anyway, there's the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal up on a shelf with a collection so you can see what it looks like, what its shelf presence is like, etc. It is fairly standard for a Gundam because it is a take on the standard RX-78-2. Just like the AGE-2 was a take on Zeta, and the AGE-3 was a take on the Double Zeta. It was kind of like repackaging classic Gundams for a newer generation. Of course, since then, Bandai has tried a whole plethora of approaches to getting the kids in on Gundam. The build fighters, divers thing seems to be working out the best, but there's just something about the Gundam AGE-1 design that I seriously love. And when it comes to model kits of it, I think the Master Grade captured it the best. On top of that, from what I can remember, the build is very simple, yet incredibly enjoyable, and the kit you get in the end looks fantastic with all those sharp, angular, geometric lines. And even if you're not a big fan of the AGE-1 design per se, the kit is phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, even if you're not a big fan of the kind of kiddie style of Gundam Age, this is still a serious kit that is serious fun to build, and I highly recommend it. So now moving on to the accessories, and here's the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal with absolutely everything it comes with. At least this is what I think it comes with, because I have had this for quite a while, and it could be missing some things, but I don't think that it is in this situation. So what we've got in here is the Dodge rifle, the shield, a set of flat-beamed beam sabers, as well as a shorter set of beams. We've got those swappable style of fingers that Bandai has liked so good that they now use them on all the recent gym-style mobile suits. Next up in here then we've got the base adapter, and finally that little 1/100 figure of Flit. So first up, a quick look at the hands. We've got fixed pose fingers that can be swapped out, a thumb with a ball joint here, and a bit of a bend up top. This is exactly what we've been seeing a lot lately with the Jeggin, new gyms, etc. To swap out the fingers, it's simple, they just pop off like this, pop back in like so, and we've got holding hands with an extended trigger finger, and some widespread dynamic fingers. So next up, and the first of the weapons, is the beam sabers. This is a very Gundam 00 style beam saber because we've got that flat, broad beam, a little bit, well, bent with, age. That is what they look like once they're attached into the hands, and there's one thing that I find a little bit odd about these, and don't remember why it is. So that is, why do they have this little bit of a tab in the side? If you know, let me know, drop it down there in the comments, but usually this would be for holding it, but these actually just wedge into the fingers like so, like what you're seeing right now, so that slot is not used for that, which is weird. And also when you're storing these by popping out the beam, attaching them onto this little segment here in the side skirts like so, still you do not use that little tab, so I'm totally confused. Anyway, there's the AGE-1 Normal with one beam saber equipped and one back here stored in the side skirt. So next up in here then we've got the Dodge rifle. Now this is a beam rifle I really do love. It's pretty cool, it's odd and awesome. So basically, it has two forms. That is this one right here where it kind of looks like this part is a bit sideways because the whole thing is a little bit sideways. So this is the standard firing mode. This can twist. The clear part for the lens is inside of that, by the way. This handle then flips out like so. And then we've got this two-handed firing position, so that's pretty cool. But on top of that, it has this little handle section down here, which is not unlike a 00 design. And this can move just like so. So yeah, once again, there it is in the standard firing position because I had it upside down the last time. And that flips around like this. Handle comes out like that, for that double-handed firing position. So that's a pretty simple, yet pretty awesome little beam rifle right there. So next up then in here we've got the shield. This is in the same colors as the mobile suit. That's white, blue, gray around here. Very simple attachment mechanism. Right here you can, well, guess what that does? And I have attached some of the dry transfer decals on here as well, which complements the white very nicely. So the attachment is as simple as shields come. That little tab pops in there, and that can rotate on that axis. That's simple and effective. Wait a minute, almost forgot to mention, you get back in there, that there also is a set of short beams in here as well, once again, kinda like 00. Next up then in here we've got a base adapter. Let's test this out, see if it's any good. That just pops on in here, simple so far. Get him up on an action base. And let's give it the old wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, that is absolutely fine. All the wiggling you're seeing right there is from the action base itself. This little connection right here is solid enough. And lastly then, there is that little minifigure of Flit, so you can check out that detail. So anyway, now moving on to the articulation, and as usual, from the head down. But first I'm going to mention a little bit about the build on this. It has been quite a while since I've built this, so it has loosened up quite a bit in certain aspects. Definitely up here in the shoulders, in the knees right here can flop quite a bit, and the toes tend to give way sometimes. But besides that, it really isn't all that bad. It doesn't have anything heavy to hold on to. But I'm sure once freshly built, it feels quite solid. But it will loosen up a bit over time and might need a little bit of extra attention. So the Age here rocks a bunch of interesting, almost like drum style joints, like what you can see here in the wrist, and the same kind of goes for the neck. So as for the giggity giggity giggity, it's not the craziest one around, but still we do get quite good articulation. For example, there's it looking all the way up, there is it looking all the way down, and once again that's because of this interesting drum style neck, which might be a little bit hard to see there in the video. While we're looking at this thing's head right here, I will mention that this is a very photogenic and videogenic kit, if videogenic is even a word, mainly because of how flat a lot of the surfaces are and everything. It just catches the light so nicely from every angle, something I do adore about this kit. Anyway, besides that, there is the side to side, which will bring the head all the way around. There is the pivot side to side, so not a whole lot on the pivot. Next up are the shoulders, and these are some interesting shoulders. They lock into place like you can see right here, but then they can unlock and pop out like so. So they swing out a lot to the back there. A little bit then you can get extra to the front, but this does weaken a lot of what's going on here. Not as much as I felt it did with the AGE-2, but that could be just because that has more to hold on to than this does. But that does unlock a lot extra with that kind of ball-ish joint back there, but that's pretty awesome. Besides that, then we've got the full spin at the peg at the shoulder. The shoulder armor is separate, so it can move up and down like so. There is the arm all the way up, so including that joint there, it can lift up quite high, but once again, that isn't the strongest joint when unlocked, so that's what you get while maintaining the strength of the joint. We've got that usual full spin at the upper arm. Very nice double jointed bend at the elbow. Actually, that is pretty much perfect. We've got a second twist rotate right here all the way around, and this incredibly unique wrist. So we've got a ball joint deep down in there, and then a bit of a tilt up and down at this drum-like section here. Just like we saw before, there is a ball joint there for the thumb, as well as that bend, and these fingers don't move at all. Also, to mention another one of this kit's awesome aspects, this has one of the coolest cockpits around. So it opens up down like this, that upper section pops out, and then the whole thing can push out like so. So this is pretty cool. One more time, there it is going in, that bit closes down, and this closes up, and that is all on a pretty cool mechanism. Once again, this is quite old. I built it a long time ago, but I do have one I built a little bit more recently, which is the AGE-1 Titus right here, so this might work a little better. Yeah, it all pops out just like that right there. That is so cool. So not a whole lot at the waist here, so they're just down and up like so, side to side like that, rotation all the way around, so it is a little bit paralyzed when it comes to an ab crunch. It's okay, not great. The AGE-1 Normal gets unique again down here with this flap at the front skirting, so this might look normal at first. AGE-1 Normal, sorry. But anyway, if you flip this up and look in underneath, this is on a double ball joint system. That's because this whole torso is used on this kit, and then the different variants, like the Titus right here, and the Spallo, which I don't have. And just like you can see right here, it's just missing the white section, and still has its own ball joint, but when it's on the normal, it's on the double ball joint. You can see right in there. The side skirt is on a fairly standard ball joint that lets it swing all the way around, up and down. Back here we have a double premium butt flap. both of those flaps with some up and down, but from what I can see, I glued this, so I assume this used to pop out an awful lot. It took a bit to pull it out. There is a bit of what looks like super glue frosting on there, so I assume I glued that because it was probably a bit of a pain in the butt. Flap. We also have this little hole back here, which I forgot about earlier on. This is for storing the Dodds rifle with this drop out segment. Pops in just like that right there. And this segment right here does drop down like this, but as far as I remember, this has no actual function on this particular kit. It's for using with the Spallo variant, but I might be wrong. So I'm popping off the leg so you can see on into the waist there, and this has another awesome drum-like segment. So this whole section here rotates around when you kick the leg about. It's kind of hard to do when the leg is not attached, so I'll just stick it on so you can see. And that allows this section of the leg to actually travel around like so you can kick it up higher, back further, etc. That is a nice design right there. Anyway, let's test out those kicks. So there is the kick all the way up to the front. That is a bit to the side of the side skirt, but that is extremely nice. Out to the back then, and we get that there, which is pretty good. And then out to the sides, move those skirting armors back, and can it pull off the splits? Not a problem whatsoever. Full rotation then at the upper leg, as you would expect. Big old bend at the knee right here, very nice. We've got this little bit of a moving gimmick right here. So getting in a little closer when you bend that all the way down to the bottom of that, then this part pops out ever so slightly. Very nice, but it doesn't do a whole lot, but it looks pretty cool. At the ankle then, we've got a double ball joint system, so a ball joint up here and another ball joint then down here. The ankle armor can move up ever so slightly, and then we've got a bend at the toe which bends up like this. Once again, you may want to tighten this up a little bit with some paint, top coat, etc. while you're building it so it doesn't move around so much, but there it is all the way up, and there it is all the way down. So anyway, let's check out the functional movement on the ground of the foot. So that means what we can get out of it without taking the flat of the foot off the ground. So there it is all the way to the front, and that is incredible thanks to that toe bend, but without the toe bend, it is just to there. Out to the back then, and there it is all the way out to the back. Once again, that is exceptionally good. And then finally, we have side to side. Ooh, yes. Now that's good. Hold on. For some reason, I'm not getting as much out to there as I am into there, but that is what matters, into the inside. And then finally, there is that bend for the crouches. And that's one thing I love about this kit, that badass articulation. So when it comes to articulation, the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal absolutely kills it. The only real letdown is the torso, which could have a little bit more of an ab crunch, but back in 2012, not many Master Grade kits had much of an ab crunch at all, so this was great back then, and even now is awesome. The articulation on this is so good that at times it kinda looks a little bit comical, but in a good way. Most poses you're gonna wanna pull off, you will pull off. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and I have to say, without a single doubt, the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal is gold tier. And what gold tier means is, this is way better than what I would expect from the grade, which is Master Grade. This thing does so much. The articulation is great, the accessory set is pretty much what you would expect from this particular mobile suit, but what really does it for me is the aesthetics of this thing. The colors look great, that classic Gundam red, white, blue, and yellow looks great on this, especially with that awesome geometric look. That geometric look may not be for everyone, it is extremely harsh looking, but I think it looks pretty cool. But once again, that will be down to your own tastes. But Bandai has done some phenomenal things with this kit, from the venting all over the plastic which gives it that extra dimension, to the chromed out stickers behind the clear parts like the A in the chest, that looks stupendous. And hey, what can I say, it's a Gundam with a spoiler. Back in 2012, this was the RX-78-2 Granddaddy Gundam for a new generation. But if you like the anime, or even if you didn't, that doesn't really matter. This right here is a solid, awesome kit, and one I highly recommend trying out if you haven't just yet. As for the Titus back there, that's an awesome kit as well, it just doesn't have the same sort of awesome aesthetic features we see on the AGE-1 Normal. It's definitely more of a bulky and simplistic kit, and as for the Spallo, I can't actually give any opinion on that whatsoever because I've never built it, but it's definitely on my shortlist because I love these kits so much. Anyway, As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. As always, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys who watches my videos. Whether you just watch them, like them, share them, or support me on the channel memberships and Patreon like Craig Jerry, Kaiser721, Bolwick, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhart, and Hank Handsome.